The finishing of the body of the basket, and I had to pull out my materials out of the water and the basket out of the water. And these materials they were all dried dead willow before, and they were not living before I cut them, so I had to really let them soak a lot longer, and it didn't really work quite as well as a live wood one, but otherwise it worked. Definitely sufficed for what I was doing. The process of finishing this basket was exciting and relaxing, and I could again, as I was finishing up this project, feel the therapeutic benefits of working on the basket. I didn't feel like there was as much time of weaving and everything, because it was pretty much almost finished. But even with the short amount of time I had, it did help me, process some emotions and some things I was learning. I feel like the working on the basket helps me process my emotions, knowledge, and it also creates a space, like physically, emotionally, and spiritually, to fill with what I need help with and support with, from emotions or reflections or things I'm learning, energy, and obviously it can physically hold food or whatever else whatever else the vessel might need to hold. And some of this material was pretty fickle. A lot of it did kind of break. Next time I'm definitely going to not use the dead material unless it's absolutely necessary, because it did not work very well with what I was doing as far as trying to have a nice finishing touch. But just my access to the willow was limited at this point, so I had to kind of work with what I had. But otherwise it definitely did work out well. And as it came to a close, I kind of placed the last of the weavers, and I was feeling very grateful for the willow that gave its life to help me make this basket and learn these lessons and learn this skill. So this is the final weaving part of the basket, which is with the rim. So I let it soak in the water for a little longer. Some of these spokes I had to kind of split them in half so that they would be able to flex a little better. And so I was using a knife to split them. And then how I finished the basket was I would take the spoke that was split, or not split if it was thin enough, and then fold it into the next hole over, going in a kind of clockwise direction, and then proceeded to just continue that all around the basket. This rim is called the scallop shell, and this is the scallop shell method. And I've used this before with this kind of willow basket, and it's worked very well. These spokes that I had were quite thick, so fortunately some of them did break, and that became a little frustrating towards the end there. But I would say majority of them I was able to successfully split down and fold over and get that into the final, make it look nice and have that nice finished rim. And it's important too to have that because it keeps all of the weavers from sliding up off the spokes. Just finishing up the last one, and I would end up going back and taking just some spare material and just kind of folding, sticking it into the hole that I broke off at, and just folding it over, and just kind of creating a scallop shell so that at least it would look like it was done correctly, and it does actually keep the weavers from popping out. So this basket also became quite discolored, in my opinion, from the chemicals from the pool. So I decided to try to dye the basket. So here I'm using, I decided to use a coffee dye. So this is coffee that I'm soaking the basket in, and I'm just doing kind of the bottom part here, and just kind of wanted to get that going. And I let it soak for about 3 or 4 hours in the coffee. I just wanted to get a nice color. The coffee produces a nice red color. And then what I ended up doing was going and harvesting some black walnuts and cracking those open, taking out the meats and boiling the shells and the husk in water, and made a black walnut dye. And I let that soak. That I was having to turn over every couple hours just to get it nice and colored, and nice color on it. And at the end, next morning I pulled it out and had the cat check it out, and it was all finished. And I feel very thankful to have done this project, and I feel very grateful.